Hi everyone, it's Olga Zar from SEO Slide. Today we will be analyzing the keyword personal injury lawyer in Chicago, United States. Before we get into that, I want to invite you to look at my lawyer SEO guide, which is available on my website. This is also linked somewhere below. This is, I think, the most detailed piece you can get about lawyer SEO. And the tool I am using to analyze the keyword, competitors, and come up with recommendations is Quora. Quora is a tool that has built in hundreds of thousands ranking factors. They are statistically correlated so that the tool is showing you actually what factors for a given query are important, how they are important, how well you are doing, where you are missing out, and how your competitors are doing. In a very huge nutshell, I strongly recommend you try Quora. You can download it and get it 25% off if you go to seoslide.com/Quora. This is my affiliate link. I'm an affiliate, but this is the tool I use on my daily basis, and I strongly recommend you use it too. As you can see, as of now, Quora analyzes 128,000 ranking factors, and there are 7,000 Google Maps factors for local SEO. So Quora is also a great tool for local SEO. In a separate video, I am talking about how to set up Quora, how to run the report. So I invite you to watch that video as well. Here, I will just be analyzing the keyword and the information that Quora provided me with, the recommendations and all the data. So before we even map it to a given page on our lawyer website, we need to make sure that this keyword actually makes sense. Let's say our keyword was personal injury lawyer. We are based in Chicago. Let me search for that keyword. SEMrush will show me like the basic data regarding that keyword, competitors, so that I can assess whether I can rank for that keyword. If you are a lawyer, personal injury lawyer in Chicago, or your client is one, you probably want to try to rank for that keyword. It is very competitive. There are a lot of ads, whatnot. But with the right kind of mindset, with the right tool set, including Quora, I'm pretty sure you can rank for that keyword. Basically, what I want you to always check when selecting a given keyword is what's ranking for it, what's the keyword intent, is it transactional, informational, what types of content are ranking, because you probably want to create a content that falls into one of those categories. How many backlinks ranking pages have, because if there are millions of backlinks and you have a new site, it may be difficult. I'm a proponent of on-page SEO, but in some cases you just need links, so you have to know that before you target a keyword. So these are the results in SEMrush. We can see that all the pages have some links. I think this one has 10, but this looks like a directory. So we can see that directories, there's Instagram, other pages are lawyer pages, there's Forbes, there is a homepage, there is a practice area page. So with that determination, we can say that the practice area page stands a chance of ranking for this keyword. So selection has been made. This is the keyword you want to rank for. We have a site. We used our basic SEO fundamentals knowledge to optimize the page for that keyword. We checked what the rankings look like. We can see that there are, of course, ads, Google Maps. We have lawyer pages. Of course, we have discussions forums. So the review of what the SERPs actually looks like is always very necessary as well. We also want to check how stable rankings are, how volatile searches are. To do that, we use Quora volatility tool. You just have to have Quora, install Quora. There will be volatility tool. There is a separate video about that. I ran it for personal injury lawyer in Chicago, and I can see that those rankings, at least those first three positions, are quite stable. Those as well, because Quora ran 10 consecutive searches for that keyword in Chicago. And we can see that rankings are the same. So the top three positions we can say are stable. The next one, there's fluctuation, 4, 5. Google is not sure. Here, the same thing. We can see that 60% of the time it is 4. Here, 60% of the time it is 5. Instagram is quite volatile. It is shown only 60% of the time of the 10 searches. So I assume this won't be there for a long time. Google sometimes is testing whether a given page belongs. And if enough people click or don't click or bounce, Google may lower the rankings. So that's pretty much it. Volatility, SERPs, analysis of metrics. We are sure this is the keyword we want to analyze. We run a Cora report for that keyword, setting the location to be, of course, Chicago. And this is the report that Cora gave me. And now I basically want to walk you through that report because it can be overwhelming. There are a ton of reports here. And you don't need to go through all of them in much detail because it doesn't always make sense. And remember that this report only shows you data for one keyword. So if your lawyer site has 1,000 pages and each page is about a different topic, running 1,000 Cora report may be tricky, but it is definitely worth doing for the most important pages, the most competitive ones. So personal injury lawyer, the report has run, you have the Excel, you open it, and this is what you get. This is the URL I set for this report as the URL I want to track. This isn't my client. Here you can see the variations. This is what Google is uploading when someone types for personal injury lawyer. In most cases, you want to review that list and remove the things that do not make sense. Sometimes there may be nonsense keywords. If there aren't, you want to copy that list and you want to make sure that those keywords are in your text, in the body, in headings, in alt text, maybe in some FAQs, accordions. These are the things you want to have on your page. Of course, you can also edit in schema if you don't want it to be visible or in like hidden div, more advanced tactics. And most of the time, you will be spending here in roadmap. And in most of the cases, you will have a lot of on page work to do. Phase number one, it is all about titles and headings. You think your title is okay, you think your titles are okay, think again and see what Cora is showing you. Green, if the recommendation is given in green, it means that usually this is like, and this in title tag is usually a strong factor for all keywords, no matter the niche. If it is in red, it is a strong factor for just about all keywords, but not this keyword. So it is a strong factor, but in this case, it isn't. Black shows you that this specific niche, lawyer niche, personal injury niche, those ones are more important. What, of course, depending on how well optimized the page is, you can have 3 things here, you can have 20, 30 things here. Every Cora report is different. Here we can see titles, headings. So most of the recommendations are about variations. These are the variations. So I should have more variations, leading variations in headings. So probably I should have more headings and more variations. Leading variation means that a heading starts with a given variation. Let me actually open that page I ran the report for, and let me quickly see the headings. Yeah, so we can see there aren't too many headings, and the tool is actually asking us to add more headings. As you can see, add more, add more, and more. So you probably want to have more variations in headings. You need definitely more headings. You need entities. You need more headings, number of heading tags, exact matches. Exact match is our personal injury lawyer keyword. So headings, yeah, work on headings, add more entities, variations. I can see also LSI words in title tags. So mostly entities variations. We'll talk about them in just a second. Phase two is about content, the main body, so number of sentences. Of course, you don't have to like take them at face value and make sure that you implement each and every because it is not possible. Sometimes you implement the ones which are easy to do. You can use AI to help you with optimizing because sometimes you need more headings, you need more variations, and you can do that by feeding the article into ChatGPT and asking it to write 20 FAQs and asking ChatGPT to use those variations in FAQs and making sure FAQs are headings. So very often you can quickly fix many of them. So you fix the ones you can fix. You do not obsess because it is not possible to go through everything. There are a lot of levers and you choose which ones you pull. Number of sentences, word count. So clearly this one needs more words. Variations in sentences. So you also need to add more text, more sentences, add those variations, entities. So again, you need to have a clear list of LSIs, entities, and variations. You probably want to extract them into a separate spreadsheet document, and from that, either give it to your writer or to AI. Phase three is about backlinks. We can see that probably more backlinks and more referring domains are needed to take the lead. There is a specific report just about backlinks. Diversity is about factor diversity, which is basically whether you are overusing one factor and omitting other factors. There is this MC4 algorithm, something that Ted Kubaitis is talking about a lot, which says that if you exploit one factor, it stops working at some point and until you kind of take care of other factors. So let's say you build backlinks, they work, you build even more, they work, then your site tanks. Then you discover you have diversity problem, you kind of make sure other elements are taken care of, and then those elements kick in and backlinks get back to working in a huge nutshell. Phase three, phase six, usually you probably end your work around here and you are done. Those other may also be important, but usually this is all you need to do. Result presentation. So we can see that year, you may want to add year. What else? Those other things may not necessarily make sense. Search result link, text length. Yeah, so probably longer, you need longer snippets. Outbound links, something not necessarily so important. If it is easy to fix, do it. Images, image SEO. In many cases, in lawyer websites, I can see you should add more images. And if you add more images, you also add alt attributes. And in the alt attribute, you add variations and so on and so on. Other places where you can add variations like script tags, what else, spam, nav, div. So these are usually easy to fix. You can also add them in schema, div. You can add them as hidden div. But usually you don't have to go that far. Schema as well. I can also like show you specific types of schema you may want to add. So this is your roadmap. And now let's quickly go through some of those reports. Basic tunings. This one is good if you want to show to your lawyer client that, see, you think your site is doing great, but see, look at that. You can see that you are missing on the word count, on the number of sentences, you are missing on like some keyword optimizations, you don't have exact matches in meta description. Meta descriptions are not a ranking factor, but if you have exact matches or variations there, it kind of increases the keyword density of the page within code, which can also matter. So this is like an overview of the things you could improve and simply showing your client that there is a work to be done. Intermediate, this is something like more, I would say, more academic. Like, is there an email? Oh, you don't have email, you could add it, contact page, like trust factors, sentiment. I would I don't usually work with that because usually roadmap and a few other things kind of do the job. And as I said, you don't want to spend a week optimizing one keyword. You want to spend 30 minutes, an hour optimizing one keyword at most, then move to the next one. And usually with Cora, 24 hours, 48 hours after you do the change, you request indexing, you should see the changes. If you don't see them, you can start pulling other levers. Off-page tunings, that's about backlinks. There's a quicker way to analyze it. Overview is the overview of all the factors that for that specific keyword in those specific circumstances for that specific set of ranking pages. And we can see here a statistical correlation, and we can see that probably up until 66, these are the things that probably work. And if you take care of them, you will be ticking off more factors. And here are the factors. And here, if you scroll a little bit, here you can see the top 3 ranking pages and your page, the page you are tracking. And you can easily compare how you do against your competitors. So anything that is in red could be improved. Anything in black is okay. So we can see that all those things probably could be improved here as well. Anything that is a 0 usually can also be improved, and sometimes just eliminating zeros will help you. So let's see. Let me hide some of those and see exactly where this page is kind of missing. So number of LSI words in H1 tags, link to these Gov sites, entities in title tag, LSI words in title tags, so definitely title tags. Be aware that the things from here are also in the roadmap, but this is like a bigger overview of what you have in the report. And it is in sentences, similar thing, number of links, blah, 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 blah. So you go through that and you check which ones you can easily implement and you implement them. Variations show you how a specific keyword variation, how many times it is used on the top pages and your page. So attorney, the number one result has it 27 times, attorneys is that many times, injury, blah, blah, blah. And where you are an outlier, you don't want to be. So if you have any zeros, you want to make sure you don't, because if you add all those variations, your topical kind of relevance will go up. Keywords density. So we are all afraid of keyword density, stuffing keywords, but here we can see thin density, number one, 8%, 7%, 8, 9, 10. And it is usually said in the SEO industry that 2% is like too much. And you can clearly see that it isn't. And usually if you want to take the lead, you should have that density or even higher. And you can up density in a wide head ways without sounding like a keyword stuffing page. You can add those entities in FAQs, increase the word count and add those FAQs, but of course you have to remember that if you increase the word count, your keyword density may drop. So while increasing the word count, you want to increase the keywords that many times that the keyword density goes up. Entities. This is an interesting one. Google understands entities. Entities have a Wikipedia page. Google very well understands what an entity is. So if you have entities on your page, and if you have the entities that the top ranking pages have, then Google better understands what you are about and you automatically become more relevant. What you want to do here is you want to probably sort those by maximum, and so that you want to see what entities are the most popular. You want to choose the ones which actually make sense, because sometimes there can be entities that do not make sense, or there can be names of competitors which you probably don't want to add to your text. Then you want to look at deficit, and you can see where you are lacking, and where there is zero, you may probably think about adding that entity. So you select the entities you are lacking, which makes sense, add them to text, to headings, wherever you want. The same story with LSIs. You have a lot of LSIs, so it may be more tricky. I also recommend sorting them by the most popular ones, and then checking where you have the biggest deficit, and probably starting from here where you don't have a deficit, you can remove them. And once you have the ones which are popular and you have a deficit, and which makes sense, you also want to like copy them somewhere and add them to the page. Shared data is the shared data from Quora users about what specific ranking factors kind of work the best for that keyword. And you also want to make sure to check that. This is extra info, but it can be useful. Where you have zero, it means that you don't have a specific factor taken care of, and you may want to think about doing that. Here, for example, variations in strong tags. Strong tags are not like a huge ranking factor, but this is one of many factors. If you can easily eliminate some of those zeros, it can bump you up. Results shows you simply, I would say, detailed results of the pages that are ranking, great overview, like summary, URL, link text, something for you to kind of have a better look at competitors' questions. These are the questions from top ranking pages. And these questions are super optimized for SEO because they contain entities and they are sorted by the most relevant ones. And what you can do, you can copy them, of course, read them, rewrite them so that they are unique, because you don't want to copy someone's content. And if they apply to you, make sense, you can put them as FAQs and you will bump up your entity score for a page. Sentences, the same story. You can give questions and sentences reports to your writer so that it may be easier for them to add content to the page. Schema shows you what types of schema competitors have, and you can think about which ones you want to add, which ones you're lacking, which ones make sense for you. Charts, this one is not really useful here. Outbound links, not necessarily. If the site is on WordPress, you may see what themes are used. Usually it doesn't matter. themes matter if your website is on WordPress and no SEO has been done. If you are doing lawyer SEO and if you are reading this, watching this, you definitely are doing SEO. So this one isn't really useful for you. Basic off page. So this is where the tab which allows you to decide whether you need backlinks for this keyword or whether you can be okay with just on page. In this case, I can clearly say that this one, it has 0 backlinks, either follow, no follow domains, and all of them have at least some. So on page is one thing, off page is another for that specific keyword, and this is very often the case. Okay, so that's all regarding the discussion of Cora report on the example of personal injury lawyer. Let me know if you like it. That's all from me. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye bye.